Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is Snigdha Mahapatra, a third year student from KIT School of Law and currently an intern under LexLink. So the topic for today's video is contract of indemnity and related concepts. So let's get started. The term indemnity literally means security against loss. In a contract of indemnity, one party, that is the indemnifier, promised to compensate the other party, that is the indemnified, against the loss suffered by the other. Now, the English law definition of contract of indemnity is that it is a promise to save a person harmless from the consequences of an act. Thus, it includes within its ambit losses caused not merely by human agency but also caused by accident or fire or other natural calamities. Now, the definition of contract of indemnity has been provided under Section 124 of the Indian Contract Act. It is basically a contract by which one party promises to save the other from loss caused by him by the conduct of the promisor himself or by the conduct of any other person is called a contract of indemnity. Now, the definition provided by the Indian Contract Act confines itself to the losses occasioned due to the act of the promisor or due to the act of any other person. Under a contract of indemnity, the liability of the promisor arises from loss caused to the promise by the conduct of the promisor himself or by the conduct of other person. This was held in the case of Punjab National Bank versus Vikram Cotton Mills. In the case of Gajanan Moreshwar versus Moreshwar Madan, it was held every contract of insurance other than life insurance is a contract of indemnity. The definition is restricted to cases where loss has been caused by some human agency. It was also held in this case that Section 124 deals with one particular kind of indemnity which arises from a promise made by an indemnifier to save the indemnified from the loss caused to him by the conduct of the indemnifier himself or by the conduct of any other person. But it does not deal with those classes of cases where the indemnity arises from loss caused by events or accidents which do not depend upon the act of the indemnifier or any other such person. Now, let me give you an example. Suppose A contracts to indemnify B against the consequences of any proceedings which another person, that is C, may take against B in respect of a certain sum of 200 rupees. Now, this is a contract of indemnity. Now, what is the nature of a contract of indemnity? A contract of indemnity may be expressed or implied depending upon the circumstances of the case, though Section 124 of the Indian Contract Act does not seem to cover the case of an implied indemnity. Now, let me give you a case here. In the case of Secretary of State versus Bank of India, a broker in possession of a government promissory note endorsed it to a bank with forged endorsement. The bank, acting in good faith, applied for and got a renewed promissory note from the Public Debt Office. Meanwhile, the true owner of the promissory note sued the Secretary of State for conversion, who in turn sued the bank for on an implied indemnity. It was held that it is general principle of law where an act is done by one person at the request of another, which act is not in itself manifestly tortious to the knowledge of the person doing it, and such act turns out to be injurious to the rights of another third person, the person doing it is entitled to an indemnity from the person who requested that it should be done. Now, the Indian Contract Act also deals with special cases of implied indemnity. Under Section 69 of the Act, if a person who is interested in payment of money which another is bound by law to pay and therefore pays it, he is entitled to be indemnified. For instance, if a tenant pays certain electricity bill to be paid by the owner, he is entitled to be indemnified by the owner. Again, Section 145 of the Act provides for a right of surety to claim indemnity from the principal debtor for all sums which he has rightfully paid towards the guarantee. Section 222 provides for liability of the principal to indemnify the agent in respect of all amounts paid by him during the lawful exercise of his authority. Now, in the case of Adamson versus Jarvis, the plaintiff, who was an auctioneer acting on the instruction of the defendant, sold certain cattle which subsequently turned out to belong to someone else other than the defendant. When the true owner sued the auctioneer for conversion, the auctioneer in turn sued the defendant for indemnity. The court held that the plaintiff, having acted on the request of the defendant, was entitled to assume that if it would turn out to be wrongful, he would be indemnified by the defendant. Now, what is the validity of indemnity agreement? A contract of indemnity is one of the species of contracts. The principles applicable to the contracts in general are also applicable to such contracts so much that the rules such as free consent, legality of object, etc. are equally applicable. Where the consent to an agreement is caused by coercion, fraud, or misrepresentation, the agreement is voidable at the option of the party whose consent was so caused. As per the requirement of the Contract Act, the object of the agreement must be lawful. An agreement, the object of which is opposed to the law against the public policy or is either unlawful or void depending upon the provision of law to which it is subject to. Now, when is a contract of indemnity enforceable? The question whether the liability of indemnifier commences only when the indemnified has actually suffered loss or when there is an apprehension that the indemnified by all chances is likely to suffer it. The former view was held in cases like Shankar Nimbaji versus Lakshman Sabdu versus Chand Bibi versus Santosh Kumar Pal. In the case of Shankar Nimbaji versus Lakshman Sabdu, a plaintiff filed a suit to recover rupees 5,000 and interest from defendant by the sale of a mortgaged property, and in case of deficit or a decree against the estate of defendant, two of which was the hands of his son, the defendant died during the pendency of the suit. It was held that the plaintiff cannot sue the defendant in anticipation that the proceeds realized by the sale of the mortgaged property would be insufficient and there would be some deficit. Now, in the case of Chand Bibi versus Santosh Kumar Pal, the defendant's father, while purchasing certain property, covenant to pay off mortgage debt incurred by the plaintiff, and also promised to indemnify him if if they were made liable for the mortgage debt. The defendant's father failed to pay off the mortgage debt, and plaintiff filed an action to enforce the covenant. It was held as the plaintiff had not yet suffered any damage, the suit was premature so far as the cause of action on indemnity was concerned. Thank you so much for watching the video and please subscribe to the channel for regular updates.